Welcome back to the psychology class. This is the Faculty of Intellectuals, and we are continuing with Psych 101 subsection B. And at the end of this session, you should be able to define what behavior means according to psychology and the two main types of behavior. There's covert behavior and overt behavior. Now let's start with a definition. According to the working definition of psychology as we employed the last time in our first session, you'll recall we said psychology is the scientific study of human behavior and mental processes. And we made mention that if it is not scientific, if it doesn't follow the scientific method, then it is not psychology. We use the scientific method in studying what? Human behavior and mental processes. So now let's come back to what behavior means according to psychology. Behavior is simply defined as the response to stimulus. Response to stimulus. So what do we mean by response? We mean our reaction to our environment. For example, when someone tapped you and you felt it and you turn, that is a behavior. When someone calls your name and you respond by turning, that is response. If someone is given a speech or teaching and you are understanding and even nodding, that is response. Now, this response to the environment or events around us is what is termed as behavior. We also said that it is response to stimulus. So what then is stimulus? You need to understand this one too. Stimulus is any event that elicits a response. Any event that elicits response. So for example, in the scenario of someone calling you or calling your name, remember we said when you turn or you respond to the call, your response is what we term as behavior. Now, that person's calling is what is referred to as stimulus. When someone taps you or a mosquito bites you and you respond to that, the mosquito bite is referred to as stimulus. When someone is given a speech and you are understanding, that speech then becomes the stimulus. You need to keep this at your fingertips. Now let's recap the meaning of behavior. We say behavior is the response to stimulus. Now we understand behavior. What are the types of behavior? Behavior of two types. They are either covert or overt. Now when we say covert behavior, we are referring to the mental processes that we cannot see. When we say mental processes, definitely you cannot see them with your eyes. You cannot measure them by looking at them. You can only perceive them through overt behavior. So I've mentioned the second type of behavior, that is overt. So for example, your feeling, your emotions, your thoughts, that is going on in your mind. This is known as covert behavior. So sometimes someone is talking to you anyhow and you feel like punching the person and you're having actions in your mind, right? Or you are solving maths in your mind. Now, this kind of behavior that is happening in your mind is what is known as covert. And then we have the overt. Overt behavior are the behaviors that we can see with our naked eyes and we can measure by looking at them. In conclusion, we have looked at what behavior is and the types of behavior. We said behavior is a response to stimulus and behavior is of two types, covert or overt. I hope we understand.